if there isn't revenue that comes into the city, it can't operate. It can't operate. Is there any other discussion on the resolution? Yes.
I just had a question on page 3.
Yes.
This is in the now therefore to resolve section.
Yes.
Numeral 1, the last sentence of numeral 1, if the city finds that it cannot submit a financial recovery plan. What are your thoughts on even including that in? It would seem for this to be a strong resolution of the type that you've put together. I'm just wondering if you feel that that's needed to have.
You mean state what the remedy would be
Well,
in the resolution?
Well, I guess you could. What I was asking is why not take that out altogether? If the city finds, it's the sentence that reads, if the city finds that it cannot submit a financial recovery plan, it must state why it cannot and how the city plans to meet its pension and healthcare obligations to its employees, and how it will meet its obligations for the provision of services to its citizens. And I guess I'm saying if the city could do that, that would be at least the outline of a financial recovery plan. I guess I see where you're going, but I'm just wondering if that really needs to be stated, or if it just should be left that it shall be presented and submitted by May 30th.
I definitely see your point. It's been in our experience in different commissions that we've got, commissions have received plans because they know it's due and it really isn't a plan. And the way the statutes are worded, that if the city fails to submit a financial recovery plan, then that city is reduced. This is hard to explain. The formula in the code says if you do not receive, if the commission does not receive a financial recovery plan, their spending is reduced to 85%. It goes by month, 85%. So we're talking May 30th, and in June. Spending in June is reduced to 85% of the spending that was done in the month of June in 2013. That is no penalty, because I don't even think they can spend that, because the whole issue is cash. But what we need from the city is not a series of promises. We need something concrete. And that's why we put it there. If you cannot comply with, if you cannot come up with a plan, then how is it that you intend to run your city? The mayor, when asked today about medical claims, said that they'll pay it. How?
You know, I looked at a lot of legislation, and I agree with the gentleman, based on the fact that if you've given, and this is me, if we've had the opportunity time after time after time and been given a deadline, we have not met those deadlines, and we have not been able to explain why is there an explanation as to why, except the fact that you're not getting the money in, or you have overspent, or you have spent in the wrong area. So what you're doing here to me, and you're a lawyer, I'm not, is saying, okay, give me another excuse why you can't come up with what is potentially supposed to happen. So if I come up and tell you, well, nothing has happened, I'm just in the same environment of no money. So is that going to be acceptable, or are we going to keep rolling on? Or are you going to do your due diligence and hold us to our feet to the fire so that we can potentially bring forth a financial plan that is worthy reasonable and have a forecast that acceptable to the commission that I said. And maybe I.
Mary Ann?
I think probably the most important whereas in this resolution is the one on page 3 at the top, and probably is the foundation for any plan. The appropriation must be reduced, period. It must be reduced. The mayor did say that he is spending within the parameters of the revenue. So if he's spending within the parameters of the revenue, why not reduce the appropriation? And if you reduce the appropriation to the estimated revenues, it's going to force budget cuts. It's simply going to force budget cuts because you're going to estimate your costs for the whole year for all the departments. And if something costs $150,000 now and you only have 100, you're going to have to reduce the cost, and that will force payroll cuts. If it forces payroll cuts, it's going to reduce pension. You won't be providing health care to that staff person. It's going to force the cuts if you reduce the budget. And that becomes the foundation for the recovery plan going forward.
I agree with you. Back to the points made by Mr. Frost and Ms. Thomas. Any other comments as far as the need for that phrase in there?
I would agree with Mr. Frost that
Okay.
it creates an out.
Okay.
And maybe it's something we ought to take out of the legislation.
Ms. Fields?
I'm in agreement.
Okay. All right. Seems like a majority to me. We will strike that.
No, sorry. We need a motion and a second to strike it
Okay.
first.
I'm
And that will
sorry.
be done before you
You're
vote
right.
on the whole thing.
You are right.
I apologize.
Motion on the floor.
Okay.
I'll-
Mr. Crosby?
Yeah,
Okay.
I will move
and-
that we strike the last full sentence on page 1, page 3,
Okay.
sentence which reads, if the city finds that it cannot submit a financial recovery plan, it must state why it cannot and how the city plans to meet its payroll, pension, and health care obligations to its employees, and how it will meet its obligations for the provision of services to its citizens.
I'll